It is always a best practice to protect the floor before turning out the tub assembly. To reduce the weight, it is recommended that the spinner and the motor be removed. To remove the tub assembly, lift the outer tub off of the rear suspension hangers. Turn the tub forward and lift it off of the front struts. Remove the screw from the agitation shaft that secures the clutch. Remove the bearing journal and the one-way bearing assembly from the base of the tub. At this point, with the transmission removed, the center agitation shaft is free to fall. Use care to avoid impact damage to the flooring you are working over. Spinner plate removal requires a 1 1/3 inch socket and a socket extension to lock the plate in place, or the use of the spinner nut removal tool. Insert the nut lock in the base of the tub and use the spanner wrench to loosen the shaft from the nut. You are turning the screw through the nut, so apply force clockwise to loosen. Once loose, it is best to lay the tub down to prevent damage to the spinner plate during removal. With the nut removed, the spinner plate can be drawn through the tub bearings. It is best not to remove the nut with the tub in the upright position. The spinner plate can fall and damage either the flooring or the spinner plate surface. When reassembling, align the bearing spacer with the bearings to allow for insertion of the spinner plate. With the spinner plate inserted, you can now install the spinner plate nut. Turn the tub to an upright position to tighten the spinner plate. If using the spanner tool set, you are turning the spinner shaft up into the nut, so apply pressure counterclockwise to tighten. With the spinner plate in place, install the transmission drive shaft. Place the clutch hub over the base of the spinner shaft. Install the one-way bearing and align the clutch with the square end of the input shaft. Slide the clutch over the bearing journal and the input shaft. The shaft does not completely come to a flush position on the clutch. Install the shaft screw and tighten until snug. When the clutch is turned in one direction, both the spinner plate and the transmission input shaft will spin together. Reversing the input direction will result in just the transmission input shaft spinning in the opposite direction. The spinner plate can be removed using a 3/8 inch socket extension and a 1 3/4 inch socket. Insert the socket extension through the spinner plate. There is a detent in the bottom of the tub that the extension will fit into. This will lock the spinner plate into place. Use a 1 3/4 inch socket to remove the spinner plate nut.